Hello, everyone. I joined the New Hollywood Accountability Program at a particularly challenging period in my life. It had been exactly 1 year since the closest person to me, my little sister, unexpectedly passed after being hit by a car. I had recently gotten engaged and was in a dysfunctional and unhealthy relationship that I was misinterpreting as love. And I had been recently promoted from a role as an assistant to a community manager moving to San Fernando Valley, where I felt stuck and isolated. I felt depressed, alone, and just an overall sense of defeat. At that point, I had completely stopped dreaming. All of my hopes and desires for myself had been tucked away and forgotten, as the last few years had been solely focused on survival, climbing out of one hole only to fall into another. When I joined the group pitched as Manifest Your Mission after the guidebook, I didn't really know what to expect, but I liked the name. It sounded like something along the self-help realm, which was always of interest to me, as the hurdles I had already overcome up until that point were always self-help, because nobody was going to save me but me. Little did I know it was so much more than just another self-help kick, but it would become a community of women that would encourage me and pour into me to get me through some of my hardest days and teach me that I'm not only capable of more, but I actually deserve it. The first assigned reading from the group I completed was You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. This was the beginning of a complete perspective shift that came across seemingly simple, but somehow I had overlooked it or been aware up until that point. I had a say in my life and thoughts. I wasn't a helpless victim, but I could play an active role in shaping my thoughts and thus influencing my life. I started to view my circumstances in a completely different light and realized I did not have to keep living a life I didn't want. With other suggested literature, help from the guidebook itself, with me learning how to identify and set goals, and Brianna and Kristen, who served as the primary facilitators of the group for the beginning of the journey, I began to dream again. Within my first year of joining the group, my regard for myself was transformed. I began to treat myself like a friend and an advocate. I made the decision to call off that engagement, and although it hurt, the discovery that I deserved better and it was attainable softened the blow with a new hope. I transitioned properties to get closer to my family and have more concrete support, and since my time in the group, I have completed my initial draft of my poetry compilation, which prior felt like mission impossible. The support from the group and watching the other ladies who have also overcome homelessness and are currently navigating life as a mother, just trying to do better so their children can experience better, has pushed me much farther than I could have gotten on my own. I have acquired so many tools, whether it be something to navigate my health journey, my healing process, or financial literacy. Life didn't suddenly get easier because I joined the group, but navigating it did. Things went from impossible to difficult to doable. Having access to this program and the community of women has truly impacted my life for the better. The hurdles still present themselves, but now, instead of being crushed under the weight of life, I am able to operate in solution and continue to move forward one step at a time. In November, I lost my mom. The ladies in the group were the first to know. The coaching I received and support received have carried me through what should have been the darkest months of my life and allowed me to traverse a season of grief with grace and kindness and love for myself, and choose healthy coping mechanisms. In April, I was fired from what I knew was a toxic work environment, and instead of dwelling in a feeling of failure, because of the program, I was able to reframe the circumstance to see the blessing in God's divine intervention to get me closer to where I should be. Instead of ruminating on the problem or staying stuck in fear, my default was solution. In this program, I have learned the importance of financial health and was proactively able to pay my bills in advance, so in the event of a worst-case scenario of extended unemployment, which I ended up not even having to endure because of the goal-setting and time management tools I've acquired, allowed me to attain another job within a few weeks of the transition out of the last. I am truly grateful for everything I have learned and continue to learn from this community. I know that I am more aligned with my purpose because of it, and I get to show up as a better version of myself for my daughter, Tony, who gets to see her mother not only encourage her to follow her own dreams, but leads by example by doing the same. Thank you.